Hey there, how's it going? I am so happy to be here with you today. Like, in a place where I'm physically able to hang out with you and record this video and make some art. Because earlier this month, I got super sick and I wasn't able to make anything. Like, no art, no videos, and honestly, that made me feel like a big fat failure. I've been really struggling to get back into the swing of things, and I just keep thinking, like, why is this so hard? So that's what we're discussing today. Starting up again after taking a creative break. I'm excited to share a few things I've learned during this tough stretch. Things that I hope will make it easier for you to get back into creating too. While we chat, I thought it would be fun if I share my process of rendering this cute study of a children's picture book illustration. Okay, let's get into it. So you might have clicked on this video because you yourself have taken a break from creating. Whether you're trying to get back into things after, say, like a week-long hiatus, or maybe it's been years of not making art. But I think the biggest and most important thing to address here are those really shitty, unwelcome feelings. Like maybe you feel guilty for falling behind, or maybe you're carrying around a lot of shame because you're, quote, not able to keep up. I know me personally, I was experiencing a lot of FOMO because I was watching everyone create things and post things and be consistent. And I just felt like shit. Like, not so much physically anymore because I was beginning to get better, but mentally I was just in a really yucky, kind of gross space. And once I was actually like well enough to sit up, I immediately began thinking about all the video uploads that I missed, like counting all the sketchbook playdates I'd missed and commitments I'd made that I'd fallen through on. And it just felt so horrible. And I was really mad at myself for falling behind and missing my goals and breaking my commitment. And I don't know, maybe you feel like this too. But here's the thing. Nothing about those crappy feelings makes us want to get up and make art. Like, nothing about everything I just mentioned is like, yeah, I feel inspired. I'm like ready to go. So I don't know why I was punishing myself, but once I realized that this is what was happening, I decided to take a page from Frozen and just let that shit go. I told myself that that's in the past. There's nothing I can do to change what's already happened, but today is a new day and I'm gonna make something today. So if your inner monologue is telling you that you're a failure or you're behind or you're a loser, like, let's do future us a favor and just stop. Like, cut that out completely. Because none of those things are gonna get you out of your funk. Like, that mindset pattern is not helpful to you. And you're not any of those things. You're not a loser because you're trying. You're here, you clicked on this video, you're obviously trying to find a way to break that uncreating cycle that you've been in. So together, I think it'd be fun if maybe we just say, like, you know, X happened, it's done. We don't have a time machine, so we can't go back and change it, but we can control our actions today. And today, we are going to make a plan to do something about it. So now that we've addressed the biggest and most important hurdle, and we have a fresh, new, positive, and helpful perspective, I want to offer up some techniques or things to try to get you back in the saddle again. And for me, the first thing that gave me some concrete forward momentum was starting small. Like, if you've been wanting to render this awesome complex piece that you have this like grand vision for, maybe don't do that. Pump the brakes a little bit and instead perhaps start with a fun and easy, silly painting exercise in your sketchbook. I know when I started feeling better, the first thing that I did was these super fun and easy mermaid skills, and I just needed a boost of confidence, so I ended up doing it 4 times because it was really fast and really easy to do. And that project just gave me like so much joy and reminded me that, oh, I love this and I'm not a big loser. I'm not a big failure. I'm still an artist, even though I don't really feel like it. Another thing that I suggest doing is a study, like I'm doing right now. Studies really help lower your threshold of resistance, because instead of having to decide what subject to draw or paint or what colors you should use, or in this case, I would have to design an entire character with a backstory and why he's wearing the clothes he's wearing and who he is. And I don't want to do that. I just want to create. So when you do a study, you're basically removing all of that decision fatigue because the artist who you're studying has like very carefully made all of these decisions. And you're just practicing making art. You're replicating and studying another artist's work. And just as a side, I would love to make a whole video on this, but you're not copying someone's art. You're looking at it and saying, what do I like from this? Like, what do I want to take and bring into my own artwork? Or maybe, how did this artist do this? I'm going to try and figure out how this artist did this. And studies are just that. They're not your art. They're just a study of art. So just take that with what it is. And one last thing that I wanted to mention that I think might help you get back on the creative horse and start making art again is to play with new art supplies. And whether that's an art supply that you haven't used in years and you've just had in a box in your closet, break it out and play with it and experiment and see how the medium works. Or maybe it's a brand new art supply that you've never used before and like you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to maybe experiment with watercolor or like a certain brand of marker that you've been really excited to try. I think new art supplies, I don't know if it's just me, but they really motivate me. These Procreate brushes are brand new that I'm using here, and this is probably my second time making art with them. So it's really fun trying to like experiment and see how to use these brushes and when is best to use them for certain things. And I think nothing gets me motivated like new art supplies, whether it's physical medium or I can't stop buying Procreate brushes. I have way too many, but yeah, I think it's really motivating and exciting to play with a new art supply. I know, like, while it can be really tempting to want to hit the ground running again, because now you're like, oh, I'm inspired, I have a new mindset, I'm just gonna do this big thing. I think it is important to pump the brakes a little bit, because I don't want to see you set yourself up for failure by trying to achieve this super big goal right out the gate. It kind of reminds me of this thing called success stacking, and I don't know if that's what it's called. That's what I call it personally. But basically, there's this phenomenon where our brains, which operate largely based on past evidence. So if we do a thing and we get that win, our subconscious mind tells us that we are capable of succeeding. So the next time you go to do another thing, the next task, it will feel so much easier because we already have the evidence, your brain has the past evidence of that past win, and it says, I'm a winner, I can do this, I can succeed. And then you just keep stacking these successful accomplishments, and then that's how you kind of gain momentum. But in order to do that, you really have to start small. And I'm talking like mermaid scales, silly, just like hand yourself a win, because this is going to make it so much easier for you to pick up momentum and get in the swing of creating things again. So if you're in that space right now where you're trying to find your way back after a break, I would just like to be here for you to remind you that it's okay. You're not behind. You're definitely not a failure, and you're so far from like a lost cause. You're just a human, and this is life. And sometimes breaks happen. But maybe these so-called setbacks are actually set-ups that have like created this period of rest or reflection, or a time of maybe life experience. If you've taken a long break and you've been not creating art for 5 years, maybe that was some time for you to gain some really amazing life experience that you can bring into your creativity to share with other people, and that might help them along the way in their journey. I think what matters most from here is that you're trying. And I'm really proud of you for that, because you can't win if you don't play. So I am sending you a really big warm hug with a side of courage, and I hope you make something today. Even if you just fill a page with colorful stripes, or follow someone's tutorial, or do a study of an artist that you admire. And maybe you can think of it like your break was planting seeds for you in the next season of your creativity. All right, you guys, that is all that I have for you today. I will see you in the next video, and just know that you've got this. Go forth and make something today. It doesn't need to be awesome. It just needs to be. Also, if you are looking for ideas of easy, fun things to do, be sure to check out my sketchbook playdate playlist. I'll be sure to link it at the end of this video, because it's filled with like really super fun and playful exercises that you can do in your sketchbook to get you creating something today. All right, thanks so much. Bye.